and welcome to the ADHD Podcast on True Story FM. I'm Pete Wright, and I'm here with Nikki Kinzer. Oh, hi, Nikki.
Oh, hello. Hello, everyone.
Oh.
Hello, Pete Wright.
Here we are. We're still early in season 30, and we got a banger today. We've got a fantastic conversation coming up with two wonderful guests telling a really important story about living and thriving with ADHD through kindness and what it took to get to this point. And and I'm really excited to get to it. But before we do, we got to head over to TakeControlADHD.com to get to know us a little bit better. And of course, find us on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Blue Sky at Take Control ADHD. But the real news, Nikki, is as we record this today, GPS is open.
Yes, our membership is open. That's right. Our planning membership is open.
Yes.
For 2 weeks.
For 2 weeks, it is open. So if you're hearing this as we are recording it, please head over to TakeControlADHD.com/GPS and learn a little bit more about what this is. Open enrollment lasts 2 weeks, and then it is gone. Tears in the rain for another
until the spring.
Until the spring.
Yeah, it's not gone forever.
It's not gone forever. And you know the drill. If you're listening to this show, GPS isn't right for you, but you're a regular listener of the show and you've never considered checking out our Patreon, we would love you to check out Patreon at patreon.com/TheADHD Podcast. It's got early access to all the shows. You get your own personal podcast feed with extended editions of every episode. You get access to, at certain tiers, you get access to me and Nikki personally in our Coffee with Pete session, where we had a fantastic conversation this week about changes at Meta and social media and privacy. And oh my goodness, we have such a smart community of people participating, and coaching with you happens monthly. We're trying to do so much, and we would love you to join us and come join the parade, the ADHD parade, over at patreon.com/TheADHD Podcast. Check it out, and thank you for your support. Tony and Cassi Bellezza founded Anthony's Way, the road to kindness, to honor their son, Anthony, who lived with ADHD and inspired others through his compassion. The organization helps children and teens with ADHD thrive by providing resources, mentorship, and understanding. For the Bellezzas, Anthony's legacy is a reminder that ADHD isn't a limitation, it's a different path, best navigated with kindness. They're here today to share the story of the foundation, their legacy of their son. Tony and Cassi, welcome to the ADHD Podcast.
Thank you for having us.
Very much. Welcome.
Let's, why don't we just dig into the mission of Anthony's Road to Kindness? Tell us about the organization and where it started.
Well, the mission is to help empower kids with ADHD and their families, to give them a roadmap and guidelines, and really then also raise kindness to a whole new level. And the kindness piece comes from our son, Anthony. And we can drill down on that in a little bit. But, we really believe that it's compassion that drives what we're doing. And we have to be compassionate to children that have ADHD. And that's not always the case. That didn't happen for our son, Anthony. And I know it's not happening for others that have these challenges. People view them as different, and they're not different. They're unique. And we view them as unique, and we are here. We want to help them. So, Anthony we love Anthony. We miss him terribly. And now we've set this out to bring a coalition of experts together, coaches, tutors, educational advocacy groups, and I work with the schools, nutritionists, health and fitness experts. We brought the Dale Carnegie organization to help with social skills, to train these kids on social skills as they hit 13 to 17, and an academic advisory group. And we've vetted these folks. We've made arrangements with them all. They're all compassionate, and many of them have ADHD, which is even a blessing for the team that we put together. So we want to take this to the next level. This year we will start. We launched in October 2023. So we've only been around for 14, 15 months. And we've been fundraising like any other nonprofit. You fundraise so that you could then start taking care of kids. And our goal is this year, starting in March, we're going to help and sponsor 2 young children between 6 to 10. And then in the fall, we're gonna look at putting the whole program in place, where we offer all the services from the 13 to the 17-year-old age group, and we're gonna cover the cost of care for those kids. And we want to, it'll be a pilot in the fall because we want to test out all these pieces. You all know that they all work together. They all work individually. ADHD coaches, we wish we knew them, that they were here before when we had Anthony years ago. We didn't even know they existed, right? So, and then all of them work individually, but the power in this is when we put it together, and we should see exponential growth and help these kids to thrive. But it all comes back to why we're here. I mean, we're here because we lost our son, and he was doing an impulsive act. All it took was one impulsive act, and we lost him. And that was something that we struggled with, and he struggled with all his life. He just didn't think about the consequences that were there, and and we miss him every day. And so we're doing this to keep his kind, loving way alive. And really what I want to do is I want to pass it to Casey to share more about Anthony, because, I was traveling and, keeping our life going. And we have 4 kids, 3 wonderful other daughters. And, and Anthony was the youngest, and, and she was here taking care of him. So God bless that she could stay home and be with him. And then, we made a decision once we found out Anthony had ADHD that I would transition out of a partnership role and take a new job closer to home. But you really need to understand Anthony and how he drove the creation of this channel, and how we're building it to help kids like him.
All right, Casey, tell us about Anthony.
Please. Okay, where to start? Well, Anthony was, as Tony said, he was the kindest person that we knew. As a child, he was a puppy. He was loving. He was sweet. He was impulsive. He was artistic. He wanted to be everybody's best friend. He never wanted anybody to be sad. He was the kid who, when new kids would come to the school, he wanted to be their first friend, so they would have somebody to sit with at lunch. So he was very empathic, empathetic with other people's feelings. He was very, very close to other people's feelings. But so it started because we had 3 girls, and I knew how they had progressed in their learning and everything. So when Anthony was in preschool, he was having trouble learning his ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. And I was concerned about it because none of the girls had that issue. And the preschool teacher, said, well, it's okay. He's a boy, he'll catch up. So we get to kindergarten, and the same thing is happening. All of his peers are reading 3-letter words, and he can't even remember the alphabet half of the time. So the kindergarten teacher said, well, he's a boy, he'll catch up. It's okay. So his first grade teacher didn't have any idea what to do with him. And he got further and further behind. So second grade, fortunately, his teacher for second grade, she had a child that was ADHD, so she recognized some things. So Anthony's frustration had already started because he knew that he wasn't learning like the other kids did. He was falling behind. He felt less than.
Yeah, in preschool and kindergarten, and it's easy to just kind of be distracted enough to not see the difference. But you get a little older, yeah, right. That frustration builds.
Yeah, so his self-esteem already was kind of taking a hit. So his teacher called us in one day, and she said, I need for you guys to come in. I need to talk to you about something. And of course, by that point, we're like, uh-oh, what's happened now, So we go in, and she hands us a piece of paper, and she said, Anthony was working on this, and I saw him crumble it up and throw it away. So when he I distracted it, and when he wasn't looking, then I went and got it, and I thought you guys needed to see this. So so she passed it over to us, and on the back of his paper, he had drawn a frowny face circle, a frowny face, and put a big X through it. And at the bottom, he said, I hate me. And so that's when we knew that he wasn't going to grow out of this. We needed to really start to take control of the situation. And, thank God for her. So then, third grade, his third grade teacher didn't have any idea what to do with them. And she disciplined him for not getting his work done in school and all of that. But anyway, so we started on the path with, we went to the pediatrician and got got a recommendation to have him tested for ADHD. And then we found out that he had ADHD and he also had learning disabilities in reading and math. And he also had dysgraphia.
And what is that?
Dysgraphia is when you can think it, but you can't get it down on paper.
Okay.
Which also comes with the alphabet kind of part of it.
He could hear it and he
Right.
could understand everything.
He was a
When
great
when
speaker.
he tried to write it down, it just did not communicate down, and that made it hard to take tests and read and the whole thing. That just complicated it even worse for him. So
Can I ask just a sidebar question? As parents, neither of you live with ADHD, right?
we've never been tested, but I believe
You're a friend to ADHD.
a friend too. I just never stopped going. I mean,
Okay.
people have said, and Dr. Ned Howell was on our advisory board, and he said it's like your brain always goes, and it's a Ferrari brain with bicycle brakes. I mean, I'm the same way. I just keep going.
Okay.
And
Okay. Well,
I've never,
that does explain as the genetic component. Obviously, it does connect you to, which is lovely in its way. But I'm curious your take on what it is to hear that diagnosis when those words hadn't been necessarily tossed around before.
We
What is
had
your
no
right?
idea. We had no idea what ADHD was. Obviously I went right on the computer and started, trying to research things. And, Chad was a great resource, but it was a lot of articles and there's only so many articles that you can read and try to keep in your brain, how to handle this, how to handle this. So uh, we just kind of muddled through it as best as we could. Fortunately we had good advice, but they're like, we need to get a psychiatrist. Okay, well now where do we go? You need to find tutors. Okay, well where do I go to get good tutors and so forth and so on. Which is why we've set this up the way that we have, because each child will have a team of experts. We were not experts. We relied on experts, but each child will have a team of experts that will help them hands-on, not just resource materials, but help them hands-on to get through the challenges, and the parents, that they need to get through on a daily basis.
but the other big challenge was, which happens with most of these kids is that, the bullying starts to set in. Kids that Anthony thought were his friends, were not, and they would pick on him because he at a point he got pulled out to go take tests because it was better for him. And when he was asked the questions, he could pass the test, but when like we say, he couldn't write it down, he couldn't. So he get picked on, and he was a little bit, he was smaller than most of the other kids, but he was fast and he was. So, a big part of this that we believe what gave him confidence, we got him all the right help. Casey started hitting on it. We got him a tutor. Like grandmother, she was a retired teacher. She loved him, and we got him a psychiatrist, and he was great. He helped through all the challenges and
The medication.
Anthony was never really depressed. He was never really depressed. He was always happy. He was sad, but he was a happy kid. And he loved to have fun, and he just wanted, like any other kid, wanted to play, but he wanted everybody to like him, and that was a big challenge for him. And so the bullying set in, and it was both mentally and physically for him. And so I said, when I changed positions, I asked Casey, I said, why don't we get him into martial arts or get him into something that he can get some confidence, get him some discipline too. So and I've been working out all my life. So I got him and our younger daughter, who we found out later who has ADHD, by the way.
Okay.
We
Okay.
can see it in her because she was a gymnast. She was always working out, always athletic. And so we got Anthony and her, and the three of us went and took martial arts together. So I was the old guy taking martial arts with the two young kids. We had a great time. It gave us a bonding, and our old two girls were dancing. And so we had everybody was worked out, and we were athletic. But Anthony at 8 years old, he started. By 12, he has black belt in martial arts. Stellar.
Wow.
He just excelled. And so you got when a little kid starts to see that they can do something really well, and they excel, and by 12 he's a black belt in martial arts. And then we took him out of a private school and put him into public school.
school.
That was a big.
That was a
So going from a private to public was better for him.
504 kicks in. The private school don't really accept those, so you have to deal with those. And then Casey was an educational advocate because she would go in. And
I learned on the job.
she wouldn't let a teacher go by without understanding who Anthony was, and every year, and we'd sit down with the teachers and stuff. And but the big part was he started learning. He got math, he got the English, got the reading and comprehension. He started getting caught up, and then he got his black belt, and so things started coming together. 12, 13. However, the bullying never stopped. And he had to take a stand for himself, and he took a stand. And then after that, all of the kids that were being bullied, he started sticking up for all the other kids. And so when he passed, the only thing that got us through was 200 kids came and told us stories about our son.
Wow.
Wonderful things he did.
We knew that he was kind. We
Gee.
just didn't know how kind he was.
Yeah.
And we were
Ripples in a pond.
we were consoling the kids, at his wake, because they were just beside them. I mean, obviously we were beside ourselves too, but just hearing about all of the kind things, Anthony did this, or I was having trouble with this, and Anthony helped me, and it was just over and over and over again. And it was just, we were like, holy moly, we knew that he was a very kind person. We just didn't know what to extent he really was.
Yeah. Yeah. So that, it was like a roller coaster ride because of his impulsiveness. We really didn't know what to expect was coming next. But at the end of the day, he was fun to be with.
He was a fun kid.
And that was for us, everybody. We miss him terribly.
I the road to kindness.
Yeah.
The idea of bringing all these resources together is wonderful, right? And supporting kids who need it. I'm curious how you two have embedded the kindness part of Anthony in the spirit of this organization. What does it look like? What do you envision it? How do you envision it when it's really cranking on all cylinders after your tests and kind of your beta tests? How do you infuse kindness?
We're always seeing it happen because we created a kindness workshop for schools and youth groups. So we're in the middle of a major nationwide walk a mile for kindness and ADHD. And we do that in February because his birthday is February 13th, and February 14th is Valentine's Day, and that's Random Acts of Kindness Week. So we build that in. And then he loved cars, and he loved motorcycles. So in the October, around ADHD Awareness Month, we do a ride for kindness that's sponsored by Harley Davidson. And it's cars and motorcycles and cars that come and join it. So the beauty of this is that we are teaming with schools to come and volunteer with us to help us at these events. But they also, and we've got a number of schools. Last year we did our first walk, and they join in, but at the same time, they have to go and do kind acts in the community. They learn how kindness fits in and why it's so important to be kind. And as a team, though, they get together, 4 or 5, 10 kids go out, and they can do whatever they want. They could clean up the schoolyard. They can go to help tutor, mentor kids, and whatever it might be. And then they come back to school, and our symbol, our logo, is an orange heart with a rope.
Mhm.
It's right up if you can.
We got it.
Right. Mhm. Yeah.
And so we spent months creating a symbol that would demonstrate a heart, and it's an orange heart. Orange is unity and togetherness too, and anti-bullying also. It fits all of those in. And then Anthony loved, we got the A in there. It's an A, and we got the road. Now, the one thing when they first presented it to us, the folks we had developing it, they had the top of the A cut off. The heart was together.
Sure.
Now you need to open it up because we want these kids to know that their road and path will continue. Anthony's road was stopped too early. We want their road to continue. So at the end of the day, these schools, they come back, they write down on this orange heart what they did, and then seeing 600 kids come together and post hearts on a wall, a bulletin board with all the things they did, and then they go and they take pictures and they put it out there. That's true kindness. And that's coming together. These kids who might not know each other, but they're all posting hearts on this wall. It's powerful. And plus, they learn really what it really means to help somebody else out, whether it's an elderly person or whether it's another student. And that's the embedding of kindness into the program. We did a session with 15 youth groups here, about 150 kids from youth groups in the church community. And they all came together and spent a night with them. They celebrated. And then they wrote down on orange hearts what they had all done because they were tasked with going out and doing something nice. They created a beautiful board with a heart around it. So it's just cool. And it brings that togetherness and unity that we want. And, we see it happening right there. So that's what that's our vision, is taking this to broader and broader nationwide to schools and youth groups and communities to make it because Anthony made a difference.
How do you know, how do you discern who's eligible, who needs to be supported by Anthony's Way? How does that work?
So, we spent time on this. They have to be diagnosed with ADHD. All right, that's number one. To get the help and to support that, they need to be diagnosed. But then we said, okay, there's families that can't afford the care. We could afford the care. We got him all the care that he needed, other than a coach. We got him all the help. But so first off, while we're raising money, we put together a referral program. So we get referrals. We've helped now over 20 families. They call us. They've found us on the web or through some connection. And it could be in the U.S. and Canada. We help kids in the U.S. and Canada and families. And then we do an intake session. We find out what their child needs. We map it out. We get them the help. We get them connected in with a coach or get them with a tutor or a nutrition, whatever they might need. And that they cover the cost of services. So that's what we're doing right now. Till we get to the point, as we get to the point, and we're reaching that point where we can then cover the cost of care. But then we look at, who needs the care. What's the family income look like and stuff. You have to figure that in, because if they can cover the cost of care, then that's great. We'll get them into the network and give them all the services they need. But there's so many families. It's 7 million kids have ADHD. How many of those families cannot afford the cost of care? You're looking at 95% of them can. So a lot of people help, and they just have to tell us what their income numbers are. And if they're lower than $100,000 or so, 75 to 100,000, we're more than happy to help. And we haven't figured out thresholds and all that stuff yet. We're still working through that. Maybe there's some portion that they'll pick up the family will pick up at some time. But the idea is that, look, come to us. We have the roadmap. We have a seamless process that we've laid out. And the beauty of it is we'll give you all the care that you need and help you need. And if you need medical assistance, first reach out is the medicine side. We're staying away from the medicine side. But we do have we have 2 psychiatrists, Dr. Ned Hallowell and
I was going to say, you got Ned. It's all right.
he knows. Yeah. I mean, so, but, if that's needed, but at the end of the day, the psychiatrists have to work in the state that they work in. So, we haven't built that network out yet. That's still something that we need to do, but that's why we call it it's a holistic, comprehensive care model that we built.
We really want to get to the kids who might fall through the cracks, who cannot be able to get the help that they need. That really is our target. That really is our target audience for this program.
Okay, that was my next question, because I feel like I'm one of those kids, right? I didn't get diagnosed until much later in adulthood, and we have a lot of people in our community who are in that same boat, who knew there was something wonky about the way they related to the world and to time and to work and effort, but nobody noticed. Nobody had words to put to it. And I'm curious if Anthony's road to kindness, if you built in, because it sounds to me like Anthony just got lucky by a teacher who said, hey, I can make a connection here.
That's absolutely correct.
So spot.
Not all teachers did. So how how are teachers reacting, right? Are you helping to increase the dialogue in the classroom from the top down?
We're meeting with teachers, and we have volunteers who are meeting with teachers too. We've got a team of volunteers that are reaching out to the teachers. There's teacher network here. North Carolina is a bit challenged from, and as every state is, But we've been kind of adopted by one high school, and that kind of has spread to others. So, as you start having dialogue, again, bear in mind, it's just the two of us building this, starting out. We now started getting some volunteers who see that the program we have and what we're trying to do, and they want to reach out. We've got a public relations group that we brought on in Pennsylvania because we spent 35 years in Pennsylvania. So we're branching out in Pennsylvania, where we were in Hershey, Pennsylvania, and Harrisburg, and we're starting to branch out there. So we're starting to touch the school systems there, and it takes time. It does take time, but we believe that in the process we're gonna do. It takes steps, and it's a process. We're gonna take all the steps that we need to do, and every step will be purposeful. Every step along the way, we've built it this way, that with a purpose and the school systems, we want to get as many schools and youth groups. If they'll have a chance to listen to us, I think we could encourage them, to inspire them to participate, and just seeing the smiles on the kids' faces when they write what they did on the heart, that's enough for us.
From what we understand, though, we were talking to somebody, and they said that the teachers they can't they can't diagnose the kid. They can tell the parent if they're having trouble with this or having trouble with that, but they can't say, like, I think your child has ADHD. She didn't say that our teacher didn't say that Anthony had our ADHD, but it was clear that he was struggling and he was frustrated, and he was starting to get very angry. But the fact that she had a child that had ADHD, she kind of knew what was going on. So yes, we hit the jackpot on that one. We absolutely did.
And if you look at our daughter made it through because she was a gymnast and a martial artist, and she did all kinds of stuff. But like most girls, young ladies are missed. Doesn't come out. So we want to try to draw that out too, because so people have said, and the biggest challenge that we hear from parents is the transition from, if they made it through high school, but that transition to a college or a vocation, that is the hardest year for them. And we said, if we have the funding to do that, we will do that transition year, because our youngest daughter, we found out the first semester that there were challenges with 4 car accidents, losing focus.
Yes.
Oh
God
dear,
bless,
yeah.
so, and then we got her diagnosed. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we just want, if we encourage people to call, and we'll talk to as many people as we have the time to, and we'll talk to them about their child, and encourage them to get diagnosed if there's signs there. It has to be a true diagnosis, though. It has to be, go through the process, 6 months of study or whatever it takes. There's a lot of forms out there that if you talk to the experts,
You can't be internet diagnosed.
yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
but that's our view,
Wow.
how we've approached it. But we were happy to talk to anybody, encourage anybody to start seeing some challenges to go and get a diagnosis.
I would love to have you guys come back in like a year, 2 years, and sooner even. But I am so
What are you doing next week?
excited. Well, yeah, I'm just so excited to see where this goes, because like I can tell you're right at the beginning, and it's going to be so great to see where it goes. And I hope that we can have that conversation in a year or so, and see how much it's grown, and how many people you've already touched so many, but how many more you can touch. It's a beautiful thing.
Well, like anything else, it takes funding. And so part of what we're doing with this pilot
Yes.
program with these 20 teenagers that we want to work with in the fall is that we want to get a research document. And so David Guywork, who's from the ADD Coach Academy, is working with us. He's on our advisory board too.
Oh, okay. Great.
He's a wonderful, and he's a research guy. He just, so he's found the research, 1 or 2 research firms we want to talk to get it documented, so that we have to be able to scale up and take this to the next level. And that's part what, I did a lot of building businesses out when I was in the workforce world, and I know what we need to do. It's a function of, this is different though. This is asking people to help fund the next steps. Get there, it's proof. And so we believe validation is critical, and we'll get that as we go through the next steps here. But we have testimonials from people that have already told us that there's no other group out there like this. And speed that we act on, within a week, we're back telling them what they need to do and getting them connected. And that's pretty powerful. That when
Yeah, when somebody calls up and they're like, I just don't know what to do, you've got, like I said, that we're hands-on. So we've got to act quickly because we remember and understand how that feels, when you're at your wit's end and you just don't know what else to do. We understand that.
And how quickly events can get out of control.
You think you have things under control one day and the next day it all blows up. So
yeah,
we get it.
It's amazing, you guys. Really, really powerful story, powerful organization. What do you have? What's next? You mentioned you're doing the ride. That's in February.
The ride is in October, Ride for Kindness. But we have a walk that we're doing.
The walk is in February. Okay.
But the cool thing, which I think you'll love and appreciate, is that Dr. Ned Hallowell and David Guywork have come together, and we're going to do a live virtual donation event to raise some funds, bringing the two of them together on February 13th.
I want to say
the powerful February 13th is that's Anthony's.
Yeah.
So we want to share his kindness, and those two don't often come together. So bringing them together to talk and share their stories and strategies and insights is very powerful. And plus, so we have an early registration process, and with the first 50 that register, we'll get a free book, Dr. Ned Hallowell's ADHD Explained book.
It's a good book.
It's an awesome book, and to me, it speaks to me because I'm not a reader, but I can take it and I can, but it's
he likes little pieces at a time.
Little pieces at a time.
Yeah.
So, and then we hope that a lot of people come and sign up and listen and hear, and it's $75, and put those two in a room together for 75 minutes is pretty powerful. And we hope people will come and join us, and then immediately after that is Random Acts of Kindness Week. And so that's our walk. So we made it real easy to sign up. We have a team registration. The team lead goes in, signs up, and then they can share a common link with everybody they want to invite to join. Unlimited team membership. And we will give prizes out for the coolest and most creative team name. And then also who helps to raise the most funds for Anthony's Way to Road to Kindness. So we try to make it fun. We're having 2 community walks, one here in Wilmington, North Carolina at Hoggard High School, and one in Pennsylvania, in Hershey, Pennsylvania. And we hope that a lot of people will come and join in those 2 areas. But if you want to start a community walk, it's out there. Come and join us. It's on the website. We want to open it up to everybody and think through the whole process and make it fun.
That's great.
Kindness acts.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's critical.
We'll put the link and the event in our Discord server for our community and make sure they can jump right to it. It'll be in the show notes. We'll do our best to spread the word.
We'll put it, everywhere we can.
Thank you.
Well, you guys,
fantastic.
You guys are wonderful, and I know you just put a book together too on planning, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So critical for kids. So, God bless to both of you.
Well,
you too.
Thank you so much. I think this is, there is no better way to help, like our audience, primarily college students and adults living with ADHD. There is no better way to help an adult with ADHD than figuring out how to help them as children with ADHD. And I think there's no better deed we can do than help kids figure out early how to live in their own skin.
That's why we want to get them early, as early as 5 or 6, and start getting them the help so that they understand how to live their life easier and better for them.
That's how valuable they are, man.
Yeah. Protect their children on
so special. There's they're just so special, and we just got to take care of them, and that's what we want to do. More than take care of the kids.
And to let them know that they're great.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Great.
Tony, Casey, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care.
And to everybody listening, we sure appreciate you downloading and listening to the show. Thank you for your time and your attention. Don't forget, if you have something to contribute to the conversation, head over to the Show Talk channel on our Discord server. You can join us right there by becoming a supporting member at the deluxe level or better. On behalf of Nikki Kinzer and Tony and Casey, I'm Pete Wright, and we'll see you right back here next week on Taking Control, the ADHD Podcast.